This is WBSM On Demand.
Good morning. Good morning. So it's going to be a beautiful day out there, as Phil said. So hopefully you can enjoy it. Look, last night, two important meetings. Fairhaven had a special town meeting. I watched that online. Boy, I do love the internet. You can watch everything. Where I was in my man cave watching that, and I had the city council ordinance meeting on as well. And so 40R passed in Fairhaven last night. I was surprised by that, I have to tell you. Good friend of mine, same reaction, surprised by it. That it passed. That's not a commentary on whether it's good or bad, because I think it remains to be seen what happens, obviously. But there was a lot of really good discussion. Boy, I understand why people in New Bedford and other cities are jealous of, not jealous, but envious of the fact that towns still have town meetings, even if it's an elected town meeting as opposed to a open town meeting. Open town meeting, any voter can show up and speak. Elected town meeting, only the elected members can vote. So Fairhaven is an elected town meeting, but it's not that hard to become a town meeting member. It's just that it's a big commitment, right? It's not hard to get on, but you do have to keep a commitment and keep up with it. And look, a lot of great American citizens in New England for years have been members of town meetings. And before us, there were a lot of other great people who did it. So, quite frankly, it's the least you can do if you're able to do it, right? If you're able to do it. Me, I'm not. Physically, I'm not able to do it. My schedule is too packed and anyway, you know. So, but a lot of you can do it. And so you ought to get involved. 40R passed. I thought the debate was really good. If you were there at Fairhaven Town Meeting, love to hear from you. Fairhaven doesn't seem to like to talk about their business. I guess I can respect that. But if you were there and you want to talk about it, happy to hear from you. 508-996-0500. The City of New Bedford City Council had an ordinance meeting to hear the recall petition and the succession plan. There were other things on the agenda as well. You don't have a recall petition. You won't have one. So it's kind of in limbo. Last night, let me offer some leadership here, because it really is necessary for that city council. I didn't hear much in the way of people except worrying about their own little nest, really. What's going to happen to them? What about me? These are city councilors. I know that there were councilors working behind the scenes to kill the thing. This is the recall. Rather than just coming out and say, none of us have enough individual power as a city councilor or a school committee member to make a hill of difference. No difference whatsoever. One city councilor, quite frankly, is nothing. I'm not saying that to insult you. I'm just saying it to point out a political fact. You are one of 11. If you get kicked out of office, it wouldn't matter. I get it. It would matter to you. You'd lose your health insurance in some cases. You'd lose your paycheck. You'd lose your retirement plan. You wouldn't have a title and you wouldn't be able to raise campaign money. God knows what you do with most of it. Actually, it's more than God knows. We all know. But that's what is getting in the way of real reform down there. The recall petition isn't about the city council. It's about the mayor. Not John Mitchell. Nobody's going to recall John Mitchell. He's not worried about it. That's why he put it up. The recall petition is about future mayors. 4-year term with the kind of power that the city of New Bedford mayor has needs a recall petition. The fact that the city council can't figure out that it's not about them, that it's about the mayor's office, and not about this particular mayor, but about a future yet to show himself or herself mayor. The city of New Bedford, the mayor of New Bedford, he understands it. He gets it. It's not about him. It's about the office of the mayor. It's a 4-year term. It's an extraordinarily powerful position. And it needs a trap door. Really, the citizens need a trap door. If you elect a bad mayor, a corrupt mayor, and you want to get him or her out of office, or you elect somebody mayor who decides to stop showing up for work, which is what you've had in the city council. But imagine that in the mayor's office. But these city councilors can't figure that out. Last night, I was waiting for someone to get up and go, this isn't about us. None of us have any real straight power. We're one of 11. If one of us got arrested for putting our hands down the pants of a little kid, it wouldn't change the day-to-day operations of New Bedford a bit. It really wouldn't. If one of them got convicted of malfeasance when it comes to campaign finance, one councilor gets arrested and convicted of that, it won't make a difference. That councilor will go off to jail or house arrest. That'll be the end of them. They'll get voted out at the next election, maybe. But because they're so blessed concerned with their own pension, their own health care, their own paychecks, they can't summon the political courage to sever themselves and say, this only applies to a 4-year term or higher, right? That the city council, and look, even if they left themselves in the matrix, what in the world has one of them done they're so worried about, right? Is it that they have poor attendance? Is it that they don't really do the work? Is there some other scandal lurking? They don't want to set themselves up to possibly lose the best job they've ever had? And for that, the taxpayers of New Bedford have to have a sword of Damocles hanging over their head? John Mitchell's not going to stick around forever, right? Someday he won't be coming through that doorway. So you got to prepare the future. Prepare the city for the possibility that a bad actor talks his way into that position. City Council, come on. This isn't about you. It's about making sure that you, as residents and taxpayers of New Bedford, have an ability to remove a bad mayor. It doesn't matter. Look, you can get arrested for drunk driving as a city councilor and run unopposed. I mean, that's recently happened. Now, that gentleman, charismatic rogue that he is, offered a lot more to the city council than merely buying last rounds, right? He was a bright, valuable member of that city council. So his constituents overlooked the fact that he had a bad ice cube and played bumper cars, right? They didn't even challenge him. So what in the world have you done that you're worried about? Right? You could play bumper car at 2 a.m. But if you're charismatic and skilled as a legislator, you don't even get an opponent. So what in the world are you people worried about, city councilors? Right? I don't get it. I really don't. Last night, I think, was a poor performance. 508-996-0. You have no recall now. Now, it'll come up again, but maybe, based on what I just said, some city councilors will recognize it's not about them as an individual. None of them are going to be recalled. None of you are going to be recalled. Unless you've done something that's yet to come to the surface that you're really worried about. Maybe I got to start looking. Maybe I got to start looking at what is it that's so troublesome to those individual counselors. Look, a lot of you have had, I would call them minor scandals. Minor scandals. Then you get reelected. The voters move on. The voters know you take different policy positions than they take. I think they like that about you, right? That you have the courage of your convictions. Guys, gals, this isn't about you. This isn't about Linda Moore. It's not about Brian Gomes. It's not about Shane Burgo, leader of the Shane Donistas. It's not about Ian Abreu. This is about a yet-to-surface mayor for the city of New Bedford. When they get in there with a 4-year term and the ability to spend hundreds of millions of dollars, right? And if they're a bad actor and you realize, wow, we made a mistake, we got to get that person out. That's what this is about. It's not about whether you get a pension. Trust me. Stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the program. I'm Chris McCarthy. Girls' hands in your back pocket. That's a great move. Till your mom sees you in the 8th grade. God, I was in a lot of trouble that day. Anyway, going out the 8th grade doors at Graham's Middle School with a girl's hand in my back pocket, and there's my mother. Good Lord. Anyway, she's passed away. Maybe that's what killed her early. Who knows? She raised 3 boys, and all of them had girls with hands in their back pockets. Anyway, back to the city council. 508-996-0500. I don't think it was the city council's best moment, to tell you the truth, last night. Because I don't like to see fear in elected officials' eyes. This is America. Come on. You guys do a good job. I bang away at you. You bang away at each other. We love to bang away here at you on the radio, right? But generally speaking, with a limited exception, You do a good job. I heard a couple of counselors last night say that it was targeted at them. And after a long life in politics, you may think that. And I just don't think it is. I really don't. I think the mayor, first of all, I think he barely knows any of your names, to be honest with you. If you want, I'm joking about that, obviously. But John Mitchell is not doing this recall provision so that there can be more chaos in the city of New Bedford. Folks, I was having a conversation this morning with someone whose opinion I value, and we were talking about it, honestly, and I said to him, look, yeah, as soon as the recall hits the streets, as soon as it becomes a law, you'll have a couple of people out there who get angry over some decision by a counselor. And they'll attempt a recall. And they will fail. Because unless that counselor has done something really outrageous, okay, been indicted for campaign finance fraud or attempted to make a zoning change for their own property and got caught, right? Or maybe a domestic violence thing, which again, I think most people, depending on the circumstances, would not want to get involved in that because it's so personal, right? Even under major scandal like that, I don't think you could find enough people to get the signatures and then to get enough voters to show up, to get enough media attention, to get somebody to reverse the results of an election? I don't think so. I really don't. The only one I think who has to be concerned are people that don't do their job. Consistently don't do their job. So for that, I would say Maria Giesta has legitimate concerns. That she is legitimately lobbying her constituents, rather her fellow counselors, to try to kill this off. I think what you saw last night was the aggressive bullying of the Ward 2 city councilor, Maria Giesta, not asleep at the switch when it comes to her pension, to her paycheck, to her health care. She could care less what else happens in the city. Shootings galore, illegal aliens running all over the place. Maria Giesta doesn't do her job. The only thing she does is show up to collect a paycheck and get to Carmine's before last call. So in that case, I think that city councilor does have something to worry about. But I don't think the rest of the city councilors should go down the tubes with her. Because at this point, you're looking at a mass wave. Throw all the bums out, which I think would be unfortunate for the city of New Bedford because there's a lot of good people there. But if they want to hang with Maria and go down the toilet with Maria, that's fine. 508-996-0500. That is the only force I see really working against this. It's kind of unfortunate, really. You're going to let a hardly do anything slow down the good work of that city council. You've got councils that have, I think, nothing to be afraid of. Ian Abreu, nothing to be afraid of. Linda Morad, nothing to be afraid of. Brian Gomes, absolutely nothing to be afraid of. Joe Lopes, Sean Oliver. I mean, those guys had a great piece of work up last night. How to deal with big old houses that are targets for sober houses to be taken over, right? Taken over by an out-of-town developer and turned into a sober house or a group home. Those guys had a very good ordinance up there last night to turn those big houses into smaller condominiums, owner-occupied condominiums, which will end the threat, in a lot of ways, of group homes and sober houses, rooming houses and sober houses. They will go the way of the dodo because you'll have developers. I can think of a couple right now, friends of mine, who would buy those old houses, divide them into condos, using the ordinance created by Joe Lopes and Sean Oliver in conjunction with David Garatowski, the very talented lawyer for the city council, who I think did a remarkable job last night. Those guys are doing good work. You're not going to recall Joe Lopes. You're not going to recall Sean Oliver. You're not going to recall Ian Abreu and Linda Morad. Please, Linda Morad is the voice rallying fiscal discipline up there for the taxpayers. Why would you throw her out? No. Guys, you got nothing to be afraid of if you're doing your job. Leo Choquette. Actually, I think he wanted to lower the state. I think he wanted to make it easier for recalls because he's not worried. Leo Choquette knows he's doing the job. He has meetings with he's got that big forum up there at Pulaski every month. Nobody's going to throw Leo out. How are you going to get signatures to throw Leo Choquette out? He's doing his job and everybody else is up there. By that, I mean he's running a legitimate town meeting, Freetown, Fairhaven style town meeting. Actually, Freetown style. Anybody can come. You're not going to recall Leo, and he knows it. He's like, hey, you should need less signatures. Throw the bums out, right? Folks, you got to set it up so that the taxpayers have an exit plan. Don't be afraid. You're an American. Well, most of you are. Most of you were born right here in America like me. The only problem you might have is a crack in your windshield. I got a solution for that. Citywide Glass. Citywide Glass sends a mobile tech team right out. They'll send it to City Hall to fix it right there if that's where you work. They'll send it to your house. Just give them a call. Fall River or Dartmouth, Citywide Glass. No matter where you are, you can go on the internet, citywideglass.net. They'll send a mobile team right out to your home or work, fix that ugly crack, dangerous crack. As it starts to get colder, folks, that windshield, that big, fragile piece of glass, it's got all that pressure on it as you go down the highway with a crack in it. It's not smart. Call right now. Citywide Glass in Dartmouth or Fall River. Get that tech team out. Fix your wife. Fix your husband. Say Merry Christmas. The crack is gone. They'll also fix door windows, truck sliders, sunroofs. Any glass on your vehicle they'll fix. They'll send the mobile tech team right out to your car. Home or office. All insurance is accepted. That means won't cost you anything. Make that call right now. You deserve it. So does your wife. So does your spouse. So do your kids with those blessed cracks in the windshield. Fix it up. Citywide Glass. Citywide Glass Tech. Good morning. Thanks for holding. You're live on the air.
Good morning, Chris.
What's happening?
I'm a little surprised that this vote went this way in Fairhaven.
Yes, me too.
I think this is going to be a big mistake. And when they get all these apartments built, I'm afraid what's going to happen, what's going to move into these apartments, the Fairhaven skyline is going to be gone. And I'm really surprised they put this through. And I want to look up, I guess the selectmen were all for this, all of them. Am I correct? Hello?
Now, what is there? This is it. This is the only bite at the apple, right? But it's going to be a slow process, won't it?
What's that?
This will be a slow process, won't it, to develop it?
Yeah, well, that's what they say, but when has the state ever been involved with anything that's turned out to be good for the taxpayer? Never.
So I was
Never.
watching the debate last night. I believe I know who you are, which is fine. I think
Right.
you talked about how the state's going to take some of this land, right, as part of the deal?
That is correct.
Explain that if you could.
And, well, I can't really explain it.
Okay.
I just got this gut feeling, like I said, whenever the state gets involved in something, their auras go sour. And I think for Fairhaven, it's going to be a detrimental vote. And I'm really surprised the taxpayers or the town meeting members went for this. I think there should have been more to it. I don't think a lot of people were really educated on it. Too late. And I just got to say that being a taxpayer living in Fairhaven all my life, this is a bad move. Thanks, Chris.
No. Thank you for participating in the town meeting last night. He's a very knowledgeable guy. I will tell you this. Up in Lakeville, not everybody, certainly not the developer, although they didn't live in Lakeville. If you go to the train station up there, the train station they're going to move, but there are a couple of very un-Lakeville-like towers, residential towers. I don't know, maybe they're 4 stories. They're big. They're the biggest building, I think, since Lakeville Hospital in Lakeville. I could be wrong. But, of course, I was a selectman in Freetown, and a lot of friends in Lakeville. That's where I went to school. Aaron Burke was on the Board of Selectmen up there. 40R sounds really good. But if you look at those neighborhoods that have developed right at the train station in Lakeville, my sources tell me that they are responsible for 40 to 50% of the emergency response calls now in the town of Lakeville. Now, not that they had a lot of calls before, but the locals in Lakeville have started referring to that neighborhood, the high-rises with the train, as basically Little Brockton, right? That it is a city inside of Lakeville. And that is all brought to you by 40R Development. Now, is that everybody? No. I'm sure the people that live there like it. Maybe not though. And that is the Lakeville experience. Now, Fairhaven is not Lakeville. Certainly Lakeville is much more rural than Fairhaven. I mean, Fairhaven has a housing authority with some great members. Fairhaven has dealt with affordable housing. There is, right next door, the city of New Bedford. So I would say that Fairhaven is more urban, certainly more urban than Lakeville. Well, at least it was till they put that 40R development into Lakeville. Maybe Lakeville's more urban now. I don't know. But you do have to watch it. But I have friends of mine who are in the landlord business, both affordable and market rate. And to a person, they tell you, it's really all about tenant screening. Tenant screening. And I thought a lot of people in Fairhaven last night made some really good sense at the town meeting. Now, the next thing is you got to get involved in the different committees. Get yourself elected to different boards, appointed to different boards. figured out, right? But I will tell you that Fairhaven has a finance problem. There's no doubt about it. You need more revenue here. We need more revenue here. There's no doubt about it. 508-996-0500. But the city council last night, if you're at Fairhaven and you want to talk about it, please, love to hear from you, 508-996-0500. If you were at the city council meeting, if you watched the city council meeting, I had 2 meetings going last night in my man cave, two city council meetings going, and an eye on the Trump administration. Who's he going to have? Is Matt Gaetz going to make it? I don't know. Look, the president, I elected Donald Trump. So I trust the president to get to a point and serve with the best people he can. I can't imagine he'd want to put somebody in there who's not good for his reputation, who's not good for his administration of justice. So, do you think Matt Gaetz will make it? We'll find out. We're taking your calls at 508-996-0500. Stick around. We'll be right back. They came up with a succession plan, and they killed off I would say they killed off the recall petition. Again, I just think that they're not getting it. They're not getting it. It's not about them as individuals. It is about creating a safety valve for the taxpayers of the city of New Bedford. God forbid some rascal talks his way into the mayorship, right? The mayor's office. It's an extraordinarily powerful position. Those city councilors know better than anybody, most of them do, how powerful that mayor's position can be. Why would they leave it with no recall? I mean, think about it. What if you had Maria Jester, who's run for that job in the past? She gets the mayor's job, all that power, doling out money to her illegal alien cronies and just not showing up to work, right? She doesn't really show up to the council meetings. So I understand why she wouldn't want the recall petition. But for the rest of them, Brian Gomes, nobody would successfully get a recall petition going against Brian Gomes or Linda Morad or Ian Abreu. I mean, these guys are insulated by their track record of work for what amounts to, in some cases, a couple of decades. Abreu will be a decade now. That body of work is not going to be overturned by some blip in the road, and some activists. They're not going to be able to get the signatures and the voter turnout to repel Brian Gomes. He's got nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. Maria Giesta, I think she does. And she knows it. And that's why she's holding up the flow of democracy, the safeguard for the taxpayers. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Good morning, Chris. Gilly Saffield.
What's happening, Gilly?
Can I put my 2 cents in this?
Of course.
Okay, here's the thing. The person that's holding it all up is Linda Morad.
All right.
And I'm going to give you reasons behind it.
Okay.
I mean, Giesta is right with her. Whatever she does, he agrees with her.
Yeah, the toxic
but
twins.
Linda Morad is the cause of this holdup, okay? Because it's on record. This has come before the city council before. See, people don't remember things. I remember. And it's on record, it's on tape at the city council. She made a statement that the reason that the recall with the mayor and everything, if there's a president on for the year and that comes up, a person might not be qualified to be president. So they should have a vote to get the person they want to be the mayor, the acting mayor at the time. Linda Moritz holding it up because she hopes if it does happen, she can get the people to vote with her because she runs that place. It's on record. Just look it up.
So that's a succession plan.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? But she's the one that's holding it up not to vote on it. Because she has an idea that if something happens to the mayor and there's somebody else in that place as the president of the city council, that's the person that should become the mayor, the acting mayor. She made a statement that the person that's as the president at the time might not be qualified to be a president.
Right.
So we should have a vote among ourselves to see who should take her place. She's the one that's holding it up, so she can manipulate the votes like she does with everything else. Check the records. She made the statement. It's on record.
So thanks for the call, Gilly. Yeah, the succession plan is that they're going to vote amongst themselves for an interim mayor, and if they can't come to an agreement, it'll be the city council president. That's my understanding of the succession plan, which was moved forward last night. By the way, I thought Manny DeBrito did an excellent job as a resource there last night to talk about the time, because this is all about timelines, right? How long till the next election? Should there be a preliminary? Not, just because this is real legislation, right? They're changing the laws. They've never done this before. So I thought Manny DeBrito did a great job last night explaining to the council his experience running elections and what can happen, what they're going to have to do in terms of timelines. So I did think it was a really, how do I put it? It was a really good discussion last night. I found it very interesting. But then when they moved on to the recall, I just think people are afraid for the wrong reason. In other words, I don't think people realize how much the city appreciates them. Again, we have fun with them. Hey, look, I have fun banging away on Linda Morad and occasionally Brian Gomes and even Ian Abro occasionally. But that's because I know they can take it, number one. Number two, they've got a great body of work. They've got great votes. They've got, in the case of two of them, decades. In the case of one of them, a decade of experience. They know they're secure in their job. Think about what would have to happen to get a recall of the kind you need. I don't think it's there. I just don't think it's there. And by the way, if it was there, what would it matter? It's 1 of 11. They have no power. It is 1 of 11. And their 1 of 11 is holding back a reform policy that was created by the man who understands better than they do just how much power the mayor's office really has. Take a break. We'll be right back. About the New Bedford City Council meeting last night. So they were able to get a succession plan through ordinance, right? Everything goes through a committee and then eventually it gets to the full city council floor. There were a couple of really important things last night as well. But the succession plan, should the mayor leave early, that looks like they've got some semblance of a formula of what they're going to do. That they're going to vote internally. If they can't reach a decision within, I think, 30 days, then the city council president automatically takes the job. Now, I guess I'm all right with that, right? And there was a lot of conversation about that. I thought the lawyers, David Garotowski in particular, really shined, right? I mean, they've been working on this for a while now. Remember, this was proposed by the mayor in January. So it takes a while to figure it all out. And they still haven't figured out the recall. Again, I think that most city councilors have to understand. Take a step back and be self-aware. You are not at risk of being recalled. This isn't about you. This is really about whoever occupies the mayor's office for 4 years, and not John Mitchell. I don't think he's in any danger of being recalled, right? What's he going to be recalled for? Being too autocratic? I really don't think you can get a lot of people behind that, right? What? Because he pressed Vineyard Wind too hard to give the city $1.5 million to build a business incubator? Not going to get recalled for that. They might build him a statue, but they're going to get recalled for that. Right? 508-996-0500. Folks, we'll have Chris Markey here in 11 o'clock. Representative Chris Markey, he had a very interesting piece in the New Bedford Light about how the Democrats have to rethink what they're doing. Basically, they've gone too far, right? They've gone too far.